Here we go. It says we have an excellent connection, but I've been sitting here watching this and we keep skipping around. So hopefully this is smooth. We might have to stop this and restart
I think
it.
I know. You got to go into settings and turn off stop motion animation, I think is what you do.
Oh my god, dude. So you've never live streamed before?
It's a joke.
Welcome to the live stream. Look who's back. It's Brett.
Hello.
We're back. We're here to talk about Lava Butte Lakes and the hike to Lava Butte Lakes. And then Brett is going to just enlighten us with all his winter backpacking wisdom, since he's the most experienced winter backpacker among the two of us.
Yep.
I mean, I couldn't tell.
That was shown clearly.
But it says no one's watching us, so let's just jump right into the hike here while everyone gets here, because it's a super simple thing to go over, since it was only 2.5 miles. Bam.
Which is kind of nice when it's, when you're in the winter and you have a heavier pack. Nice, easy hike, doesn't take long. It's not super steep.
Yeah, I think it is going to be interesting as I get out more, like the sled versus like snowshoes versus your feet. You're already shaking your head. You're just like, no.
You are insane. You've lost your mind.
I want none of it.
Do you remember how cold it was when we took those photos at night in Stanley?
Yes.
That was January.
Yes, that's what I want to be able to do.
Negative 25 degrees.
That's what I want to be able to do.
We were out of the car for 4 seconds.
You would have to.
Had like frostbite.
You had to jump out. Because it was at night, it was like a 30-second exposure. So you would jump out of the car, you take that 1 30-second exposure, and then you jump back in the car. I remember that.
Cars' engine blocks were freezing. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, I want to be able to do that. But
you can actually die, John. Did you know that?
I mean,
like, it's all fun and games, but like, it's negative 21.
It's not like
something doesn't go well. You spill water in your sleeping bag, and then you wake up a popsicle.
It's not like I'm going out and doing that tomorrow. It's baby steps. So, like right now, it's 2.5 miles to Lava Butte Lakes, and then like in 2 years, it's mountaineering in the Sawtooth. I need like avalanche training.
Okay, so we're in a 2-year window.
I don't think I would make it this year. I was gonna say
it was like 37 degrees last weekend, so it wasn't actually that cold.
Yeah,
I mean, it was cold, but wasn't anything crazy.
No, I don't think I don't think I'm gonna make it into the Sawtooth this year. This, like in the dead of winter. My hope is that like in spring when they're thawing out, because it gets to be comfortable temperatures up there early in the spring, but it's still packed in with snow, but all that snow needs to melt. I think by then I could probably go in, right? You're looking at nights that are still like, 30 degrees, but it's not the negative 25. So that's probably when I'll start in the Sawtooths this spring. But anyways, we started with this hike. So here's the hike. And it's pretty simple. I think the hardest part and the biggest explanation I need to give is the drive, because
farther than I thought.
Farther than Brett thought. Obviously, here's McCall. Here's Payette Lake. And if you're familiar with I should probably switch over to Google Earth. God damn, I have too many screens. I need a producer. So here's McCall. Here's Payette Lake, main area of McCall. And you come over here, and it's like you're driving up to Brundage, so it's Grouse Creek Road. Cut back here, and I gotta be on it, and you go past Brundage, and I gotta be honest, this was the part I was worried about the most. I know that you kept saying, why are you worried about that? And I kept being like, because there's snow, and you're like, no, there's not. There was. So the drive was around 5,000 to 6,000 feet in elevation. We did hit some snow. That's one thing I'm going to have to learn this year, too, is like how to drive in snow. I've already got an appointment for snow tires. I have the all-season tires on. I'm going to order, I heard that those things, what are they, the traction boards? I heard those actually work pretty well, everything that I read.
Yeah. I just want to say I'm pretty proud that you as a Californian are taking initiative and learning how to drive in snow, because not many of your fellow statesmen can do it.
feel like I've spent most of my life in the state of Idaho. I feel like I learned how to drive in this state. But I know what you're saying. People from out of state cannot. That's the big. Well, shit. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I know how to drive in snow properly. Like all the research I was doing online was pretty.
I mean, you can't do research online. You just gotta find a
gotta
icy
get
parking
stuck.
lot. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta find a big parking lot and just go wild in it, get comfortable being out of control, and then learning how to correct. And it's kind of like one of those things that like my dad took me in a parking lot when I was 16. It was snowy, it was icy, and we pretty much did donuts and we're sliding and drifting, and you kind of get a feeling of like what it feels like to be out of control and kind of how to.
That's not what I'm worried about.
counteract
What I'm
that.
worried about is if I'm up in the mountains and I'm trying to get to a place and there's snow, like what if I like get stuck? How do I get myself out and it's just me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't get stuck.
Well, that's the
Cat
whole point.
litter.
I can't get stuck. So I already have the shovel. I'm gonna put something in my car, like a jumper cable that is not the actual cables that needs to hook up to another car. So just like the jumper box, and then the traction boards, and then the
A winch.
tires.
You need a winch.
I'm not gonna invest in a winch. I hope to not invest in a winch.
Your car would totally look like the Jurassic Park car if you had a winch on it.
That would be, yeah. I don't know if I want to pay for a winch. And then, I mean, I'm doing a lot of research. Every video I see says, like, your tires are the most important thing. And a lot of people I see, like, a lot of people online, which I know you can't trust, say don't get chains, which is an interesting thought. Like, they're like, it jacks up your car, you don't need them. I mean, I don't know. So, anyways, I digress. We made it. There were some sketchy parts, but it was like an hour drive from when we turned and went past Brundage. We found some spots, like one of these is Hazard Lake. Which one is this? This is the Brundage Reservoir. So it's like a Goose Lake, and then you come up all the way up here. These are the Hazard Lakes right here. And I was actually like, when we passed this, we stopped, and I was like, okay, if we can't make it, this is where we're going. Which is not a hike. Well,
Yeah.
maybe it was right here, because I was like, I did want to hike, so it might have been here, and it was like, we'll hike into this big Hazard Lake, which is like, you can see this trailhead. Which, hey, if you want to do some winter stuff and you don't want to go very far, I guess this is another one, huh? The Hazard Lake's back here, and it was a much better drive.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised we didn't see more hunters and more cars pulled over. I don't know if this is an area you can even hunt, but it kind of looks like it would be.
Well, I think we saw one on the way back.
Yeah. I just figured, it's kind of middle of the hunting season, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be busier, but
Middle or end?
I have no idea.
So after you get past the Hazard...
Clearly we hunt.
Yeah. Once you get past the Hazard Lakes, this is where the road kind of takes a turn. Any time of year, this one kind of gets sketchy. It kind of goes along here. It's a, one-lane road that runs along this ridge you can kind of see to get to your trailhead. Now, there's two ways to get to Lava Butte Lakes. There's the Big Dave trailhead that's right here. This is not one that we used, but it's a closer drive. Apparently, from the Big Dave trailhead, it's a little more up. It's a little farther. I think it's twice as far. I mean, hell, you can see it. Here's the trailhead we used. Here's the other trailhead. And I also read that it wasn't as scenic. I mean, this was a nice scenic. You can see it was kind of, for our trip was in this like little basin. So that was kind of nice. And, I had the nice wood bridge at the beginning and stuff, so.
Nice view of the lower Lava Butte Lake, too. You kind of come out of that
Yeah, from the
opening and, yeah.
So the one thing I will say is if you search in Claiborne Trailhead, Google is going to put you down here somewhere. It's not going to put you at the actual trailhead. Google doesn't have the actual trailhead. By the way, last live stream I was talking about barren lakes, there being 3 barren lakes, and I could only see 2 on Google Earth, and I was like, oh, maybe I got my info wrong. And someone emailed me or commented and said, no, Google Earth has that screwed up. And when I looked at a real map, there were 3 lakes. So Google Earth, I guess, isn't totally right all the time. Take it with a grain of salt. But if you make it to the Claiborne Trailhead, which we did, I used a book from Scott Marchant. It's around here somewhere. It's right there, Brett. Yeah, you can go get it. Thank you. Well, one of these. This one's the Hiker's Guide to Greater Boise because I'm using that now. But he's got a book like this. Scott Marchant hikes around McCall. And I just used the trailhead coordinates. If you go to, the U.S. Forest Service website, they'll have the actual trailhead coordinates in there. Just plug those in and get the directions that way. And then from the trailhead, I mean, there's not much to it. It was easy. There was that parking lot that you could see in the video. I mean, hell, you can see it here. There's a car right there, and then you just hike up. There's about 800 feet of elevation gain. There's a couple of creek crossings that you probably saw in the video, and you go through this forest, kind of circle around, come out to this big meadow, which was in the videos, this big snowy meadow. And then past that, here's your only uphill. It's not that strenuous, but this was the most strenuous part. You get up, and the first place you get to is the lower lake here. This is lower Lava Butte Lake, and I didn't see anywhere to camp around there in the winter.
No, it kind of looked like the banks were pretty steep.
It had definitely receded. Like, I mean, it was not full of water, so it was.
And it was also kind of
marsh,
marshy. Yeah.
So probably don't stop there. I'm sure there's camping there, but that wasn't the place to stop. And then you kind of go up. You keep following the trail, and it's a little bit off trail. I mean, it's like a goat path that takes you at some point, kind of is off to your left, and you can go up, and there's the lake. You just use your common sense. You know the lake is there. Turn and point yourself in the right direction. If you start going over this ridge and down this way and heading back towards the road, you've gone too far. And then there was 2 campsites that I saw. There was one over here, which was pretty exposed. And then where we stayed was right here in this little area. And there were some trees on the bank here. And then there was, the obviously open area with the big fire pit that was kind of right here. And it was just covered in snow. And that's where we stayed, and that's the hike. You can definitely get up to, that's Lava Butte? I kept thinking this was Lava Butte. But you could definitely get up to Lava Butte if you want. You could just scramble up there if you want. There was a path back here that took you up, but...
When you went on your walk, did you go over there?
No, I just went...
You went to the other side, right?
Yeah, in the morning, Brett just stayed huddled in the...
Did not want to get out of bed.
Brett did not want to get out of bed, and I just went and walked around this way and just checked out the lake. And we tried some fishing. We didn't get anything, but I did see a couple fish rise, so... that was the hike. So, let's talk about some things here, Brett. Let's talk about why on earth you thought that these shoes would work, and why you thought that in snow that there would be no snow in McCall in November at 6,000 feet. Is there any
because
reason?
When I drove up, I was like...
Drove up to McCall?
Yeah, I left a couple days before, and I swear when I was driving up, it was either dark or I didn't see snow at when I was passing Tamarack, at the peak. I don't remember which one it was. Could have been dark, and I could be full of shit, but I didn't, and I'd spent the last couple of weeks up there quite a bit, and it was cold, but it wasn't anything I didn't think there'd be snow yet. And like I said, I hadn't seen snow in the peaks. You look at Jug and everything like that, there wasn't snow. And then we checked the Brundage cameras, right? And they didn't have snow.
They had snow at the top at this point.
At the top. Yeah, well, let's also mention that I had no idea where we were going.
And why is that? I told you we didn't plan this the night before.
Because only one of us needs to do the research. I don't need to like re-research it.
I feel like you need to research it just a little bit. Okay. Look at these terrible shoes.
Okay, but
so by the way, this is
wait.
Okay.
So my feet got wet, right?
Your feet were wet from the time we hopped out of the car.
Because we hiked in snow. Yes, my feet were wet.
Right.
By the time we got to camp, whose feet were also wet?
I was gonna get to that. Yeah, my
and then
feet were
whose
also wet.
feet were wet the next day when mine were dry?
Yours were not dry.
Mine were dry.
The whole time we hiked back?
Yeah. Oh, no. I meant they dried out overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they dry out better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that.
But yeah,
Don't
I didn't
make
know
it
there was
sound
snow.
like that it was a smart idea to bring these shoes.
No, I honestly did not think there would be snow. I had no idea. And then, okay, so say
What
I
kind
did
of socks do you wear, by the way?
they're like REI.
Are they like
hiking ones.
the tough socks?
No, they're just hiking socks. I think it's like a wool blend. Just something. Okay, so I guess here's the thing. If I didn't wear those, you didn't like what you wore.
No.
What would you wear?
Okay, so I already bought that.
Okay, so I did too, maybe.
You did?
Yeah. What did you go first, and then I'll show you mine.
All right, so I wish I
have mine in studio.
God, I put mine in just now in the truck because I'm actually leaving tomorrow.
Douche.
But I bought new socks. So
Okay.
I bought like the darn tough socks, the ones that go like way up high, and they're made for snow, and they cost me like
You've always been into
30
tube socks,
bucks.
haven't you? Since middle school.
No, I usually no. Oh wow, dude, God, frat jokes, Brett. No, I had the big socks, and then I bought Outdoor Research gaiters.
Oh, so you think gators are the
So
answer?
I've got.
They might be.
So I've got like the snow socks that come up to my ankles. I've got the high gaiters, and then I've obviously got the Merrell hiking boots, which were here, and they work pretty fine. I'm not sure if they got wet when I was like walking around I think they got wet walking around the lower lake.
Yeah, you stepped in that marshy area.
So
did you get water coming over the top?
Yeah, that's what I think happened. So, because I was doing pretty good on the hike, and then once we got to the lower lake, like I went down to try to explore the lower lake, where you just stayed up at the trail and waited for me to do that. And
I was not in the exploring mood.
And I think that I took a step and like actually like sunk into the lake a little bit, and then that's my issue with those boots is once they get wet, they don't dry. They won't dry. So, especially this hike that I'm going on tomorrow, I'm not taking the stove.
Are you taking the TIPI?
And then the TP has a tent, like a person and a half tent, bathtub tent that goes in it. So I'm gonna go ground sheet, tent, TP over me, and then half of the TP will just be like snow. See, I didn't actually think that you wanted to do any winter anything, so you actually went out and invested stuff?
No, not at all.
No, not at all. You
No.
had these, but you just didn't.
Nope. No, I was walking through Costco yesterday, and these stuck out. So I spend a lot of time in McCall, as you know, right?
Yeah.
And shoulder seasons, it's just a swamp there. It's always wet. You've got puddles everywhere. So my brother, my mom, my family all has these boots, and I was like, oh, I need some of those. But they also might work for something like this, where you're not doing like high mileage, but you need waterproof.
Okay.
So I bought muck boots, which they are super trendy and fashionable.
Oh.
So they're totally waterproof.
Right.
And they go up to the top of your calf, and
Put that right.
they're surprisingly warm.
Right.
They're grippy, but that solves your waterproof problem. And, you know, you might wear this in like when it's more wintry, when the snow's a bit higher too.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or like a Sorel, you know, kind of classic snow boot. But those things weigh like 100 pounds.
So, like, obviously the first thing that I'm thinking is like, I want my ankles to work when I hike. This looks like a cast that goes on your foot. So like
No,
my
it's pretty loose fitting.
Okay.
What size your foot?
11
You
and a
wanna
half.
hop it on?
These won't fit me. Your tiny foot won't fit me. Tiny shoes.
You sure about that?
Tiny foot man. Okay. Yeah, why not? We're here.
So for me, like, you know, I got them yesterday. I wore them around the house today. That's my experience with them. So I have no idea. They're not like something I would want to hike like a super long distance in, because they don't, you know, they're not super tight to your feet. It's kind of a loose fit. But if you have a thick sock, I think it's fine.
Yeah. People, I'm not actually wearing any socks or shoes.
No, I was wearing pajamas.
I just wear my pajamas. Listen, it was supposed to be it's supposed to be a live stream from the bottom up. Yeah?
Yeah, so like you can see how, like, you know, on a shorter hike like this, it's probably fine. If
Yeah.
you're putting in a lot of miles though.
What are you putting on underneath these to like keep them secure? Because now they're just like flopping all around. My foot's just
I
flopping.
thought you said I had small feet, big guy.
I know, you got these a few sizes up.
No, we have the same size foot.
Bullshit.
No, I mean you know, if you wear like a thick, like, you know, like wool sock or something like that,
Yeah.
you're fine. Where it's kind of loose is like in the ankle area and then up here.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as waterproofing goes, I don't think you can really beat muck boots. I mean, they're made like to work on a farm where you're standing in like a swamp all day.
But they're not really made for hiking, right?
No, they're made for, like, you know, working, you know. So like I said, I think low mileage hikes.
All right. Well,
But yeah, so I was walking in Costco, saw those, was like, ooh, that's a good price. Because I'll wear
what
these
was
like
the price?
$80. And they're
Oh,
usually
okay.
$130.
All right.
So these are the original Muck Boot Company is the brand, and it's the Chore. And these are at the Costco on Cole.
We only have one Costco.
No, we got a new one on Chinden and Linder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's brand new.
Damn.
It's really nice.
Boise's growing.
Yeah. You know, I'll wear these every day in McCall, basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for you it's good. I'm kind of like, and they obviously, yeah, muck is what you're getting into. I'm just wondering about, like, you know, again, I'm thinking beyond 2.5 miles. I wonder if these are the right thing.
I don't think so.
Hey, if you do winter backpacking, please leave us a comment about your shoe situation. I've done a lot of research online. There's a lot of differing opinions, and so yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So yeah, I'm going to use the same boots. Tomorrow I am going to Jenny Lake. It's supposed to be dumping rain or snow depending on what I get. I won't have the stove this time, and I'll be by myself, so
you won't get carbon monoxide poisoning.
I will not. So
That's good.
yeah, we'll talk about that tent in a second. So I mean, starting out with 2.5 miles and 850 feet of elevation in the beginning of November, a few weeks later with a little bit more snow, and it actually will be snowing, I'll go by myself. So, you know, those baby steps. And once again, I'm mostly worried about the drive. And then after that, I'm kind of thinking about leaving my foam core pad. So I have that foam core pad that you can see in the video. It's orange. It's a really good product, by the way. It's only $40. I highly recommend it. I took it to the Sawtooth. I've had it with me a while. It's that orange thing that just kind of sits on my back there. So yes, my pack's big, but it's actually a lot lighter than it looks. All of my gear is very good gear. I just have a lot of it because I'm taking like camp. Like, dude, I got like a chair. Like, I do not short on camp comfort when I pack.
No, but you're also an ox. Like, I could not carry your pack weight.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
dumb. I hate saying this because
I
I'm
know.
like complimenting
I
you,
know.
but
I can tell
you
you're really struggling with it. Like
you can hike with some weight.
I can carry some weight, and I'm
Yep.
fine doing it. And but still, everything in there is pretty lightweight. But there's just a lot of it. So it's like there's a chair, and there's a pad, and there's the 0 degree bag, and then there's the whole other camera compartment that's on top of it. So. You know, I really go all out at camp and everything, but everything in it is pretty light. I did get this new, so I'm thinking about tomorrow using like having to take that pack because it's going to be dumping rain or snow. And again, I'm worried about getting wet and covering that with, you know, Osprey makes the, you know, the rain cover for the bag, but then I can't take that orange foam core pad. And the way I researched the sleeping situation, what I did last time was I had the foam core pad, you know, on the bottom, and then, well, we have the Tyvek because there's no ground to that TIPI, so that Tyvek did nothing for insulation. I was so shocked at how cold the ground was. Like,
You thought you were cold?
I wasn't cold, no, but I was shocked at how like cold the ground was.
Yeah.
When we were setting up, we had that stove. Even when it was pumping, it didn't make a dent on the ground. Like, I'm like, oh, I was like, it's gonna be muddy in here, is what I thought.
No, there was still snow.
Yeah,
like,
none of that snow
in the
melted.
teepee area.
None of that snow melted.
We started with, you know, like we kicked away as much snow as we could, but there was
Right.
still a decent amount of snow, you know, a thin
Yeah.
layer, and that snow was still there.
Never melted. Us on top of it and a stove going, and it never melted. Like, that was crazy to me. So the ground is cold and there's no stopping it. That Tyvek sheet did nothing. So that's like my first defense is that pad. It's got an R rating of 2.2. I don't even know how they gauge an R rating for something like that, but it's obviously not something you just sleep on individually. And then I had my insulated climate V, which was like a 4.4.
Dude, my first couple backpacking trips, that's all I slept on.
Those?
Yeah.
I
feel like these inflatable, like the new sleeping pads are not actually that old. Like, I remember like backpacking with the big external frame backpack.
Yeah.
You know, with the sleeping bag strapped on the back.
you
And
know,
the big old accordion, you know, foam. No, actually, the one I used first was like you rolled it.
dude,
you rolled
there's
it into
two
a
of
big
those
thing.
back there. Those
Yeah.
are Chads.
Yeah, that's what we used to use, John.
Dude, I've only been doing this 2 years, and I'd always see people with those things, and I'd be like, "Who the hell buys
I gotta
those?"
show you a picture from my like very first backpacking trip ever. I'm like, I've got like, you know, the big external frame pack from the 70s.
Yeah.
It's literally like a metal like box frame that is strapped to your back with like crappy like school backpack, like shoulder straps, and then you gotta like tie your sleeping bag underneath it. It's like one big pouch. It's made of like this heavyweight burlap material. You've got your like, you know, that's all we had is the foam sleeping pad.
Well, I've always been like, why would anyone get one of those?
Yeah, no, that's
and I guess
it
it's
definitely
old school.
is a primary sleeping pad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that thing is big and bulky, but it's super light, and you know, it's got that reflective heat that's supposed to bounce back up on you. So, but I can't get it into my bag, so I'm kind of thinking about leaving that behind so I can put the rain cover on. And then I did get a new sleeping pad, and I was between a couple. It's already packed up. My bag's packed for tomorrow. I'm leaving early. So there was two pads when I did all the research that like all the YouTube pros were using. One, and what I think was was the resounding best one, was the Thermarest X Therm or whatever. It's Thermarest winter pad. It's like a 6.4 rated thing. It costs $250.
You want to know the funny thing? My big sleeping pad, that's what it is, that I didn't bring.
So was it the X Therm though? Was it the 6.5 R value one?
It's very insulated. It just like it's big. You know, it's 10 years old, so it's like a older version.
I mean, it's huge. My old one, this new one that I got, but like Brett's been saying, I am an ox, and I've got a big shoe size. They make this one in a large version, so that's why I went with this one instead of that one. This is the other one. It's a little bit cheaper too. So this is the Cedar Summit Thermalite. This is the Cedar Summit Ether Light in the large version. This is rated at a 6.2 R value, and I mean it's pretty big. It came in this case. I have it packed away. I tried it out. You can, I use Cedar Summit products. They're good, so we're gonna give that a shot. I'm thinking about just using this in the tent, not actually laying down my foam core with it. The other thing about these is this one, which is pretty interesting. And the large version of this cost me $215. I think it's $190 for the regular size version. So again, like kind of pricey, but you just got to do it. And it's bigger. It takes up more room in the pack for sure, a lot more. Still pretty light. I think this one weighs in, again, large version at like just over 2 pounds. And then you're not supposed to blow air into, have you heard this? Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to blow air into your sleeping pad because that lowers the R value. That gets moisture in it. Yeah. So they make a little automatic thing that you can take. I didn't get that yet, but there's a real cool design on this. You can kind of see an illustration of it on the back here. But basically you can turn the stuff sack that it comes into a pump and pump it using your stuff sack. I tested it out. It's pretty cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you ever notice that, like, we get to camp, you blow up your air mattress, and then before bed you have to re-blow it up? Yes. Yeah, because all those like warm molecules, that you're blowing in cool and shrink, so then you have to refill it. This is the interesting thing about science, yo.
The interesting thing about going backpacking with Mr. you White. Is, again, I keep saying this, so I'm sorry to belabor the point. Like, I haven't been doing this long, and you've obviously been doing it longer than me. You're like the first person that you're like my first backpacking buddy. So I learn all this stuff from you, and then we go out winter backpacking, and you're wearing trail runners, and I'm like,
because I didn't know there was snow.
Who's educating me on this? So yeah, so I'm thinking about leaving the foam core thing, and then I'll have the big sleeping pad. I've got a 0 degree bag, which I just bought. It's the Mountain Hardwear Bishop Pass 0 degree bag. It's less than I bought it in a long version again. Less than $300 for a 0 degree bag that weighs less than 4 pounds.
Is it down?
Yeah. Yeah, and not synthetic. I don't like synthetic. So I want down. So these are my requirements for a sleeping bag. Down, long, and at least under like 310 if it's a 0 degree bag were like my requirements. 3 pounds, 10 ounces.
I don't think synthetic's a terrible idea in the winter.
I just don't like synthetics. I just don't like the way they feel. But I used that one on this trip. I mean, it was under $300. I was a little disappointed that it didn't have the Nemos where you can zip your pillow into them. I do love Nemo so much. It's like all their little functions, it's like, this is so gimmicky. And then when you actually get out there, it's like, wow, I use this so much. Like in the TIPI, we were like, where do Where do we put our headlamp?
Does it have a diffuser?
Where's the diffuser for my headlamp to become an illuminating source in this
Right?
thing? And it's like, oh yeah, this isn't a
it doesn't
Nemo
have it.
product.
Yeah.
So I do miss that. This sleeping pad, and I guess the Sea to Summit sleeping pads, you can buy their pillow and lock it into the pad itself.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might like just put some Velcro on my sleeping pad and my pillow and just
Well, if you get a Sea to Summit, it's already got the locking stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would just put it on like the Climate that I have already, or my Thermarest, just so it stops, moving around, because that's so annoying.
Yeah.
Just
Well, okay, so the pillow situation. So then after the 0 degree bag, I have the liner. I am a new convert on the liners. I love liners. Someone else even told me like cleaning your sleeping bag is expensive. Not like I have ever cleaned a sleeping bag. I just sleep in the filth. But that's another advantage to it. You could just pull out the liner and wash that, and you don't have to wash your bag the whole time. But like those liners are they're like super glue. I refer to them as, because you ever sleep and it's just like my left arm is laying off the pad and now it's cold, or like my right foot is cold. Like I feel like the liner doesn't so much warm your core up significantly more, but it just kind of like makes those seals off those problem areas to where it's like, oh, I did not sleep in socks when we were out there.
really?
But yeah, my feet have stayed warm, dude.
I could have used those extra socks.
Sorry. So like I do love the liner. I'm a new liner convert. And then the last thing is the pillow. So like Dan Becker has always preached those like Thermarest actual down pillows. Have you seen those? They're cheaper, but you can roll them up and they're not heavy. I have one. It's in my car.
No, but they're pretty big.
That's the problem. So I was like trying to pack that thing, and it just takes up so much room. So I have again my inflatable pillow, but he made a good point. There's no insulation to that thing. Now, I don't know how much that matters when you shove your pillow into the mummy, because that's how I do it. I put it in the mummy hood. So now the sleeping bag's around it. My beanie is on top of it. I was thinking, like, I saw there's a like down liner, not down fleece. Like you can shove your pillow into like a fleece bag that they make and sell right now. You think that's a good idea?
I just think you're a little in too deep right now.
With the gear?
Yeah, with the gear, you're a little obsessed.
I didn't buy anything because I didn't know what to get. I was so overwhelmed because like they make pillows too. They make a pillow with a down top, and it's like
Was your head
$70.
cold?
Well, no.
Okay. So you're just looking to problem solve when there's no problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Solve the problem before there is a problem.
All right, I get that.
You do? 'Cause-
Well, okay, you know how you are with like backpacking gear?
Yeah.
That's like how I've been with camera gear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because I'm newer to like camera gear and stuff like that, so I just research.
That's a good point.
And I think that's the phase you're going through with
Yeah,
like
that
camping
is.
gear, because I haven't bought any new like backpacking gear in like 5 years probably.
Oh.
I'm just like, I've found what works, It's not like, the newest or anything like that, but it works and it's fine.
Dude, yeah, you're 100% right. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about cameras.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, who cares?
God, all day just watching YouTube videos.
That's
right?
you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess that's me too with
Yeah.
backpacking stuff. It's like, what gear do I need? What gear can I use? Okay, well, that's a good point. I'm glad I didn't buy a pillow, but there's a lot of different options for that. I sat at REI looking at the pillow section for a half hour. I shit you not. I just sat there.
Do
and
they know
looked.
you by name yet?
No. I probably get recognized there more than any other place I go in the world, but like, which is like, I've been recognized there like 3 times. But I was just sitting on the bench, and of course, I get asked, "You all right?" multiple times. I was sitting on the bench, like staring at them, at my phone, looking at them. So there's just the pillow that I have, the regular inflatable. There's putting it in a liner. There's getting the Sea to Summit one, which is expensive, or there's taking the Thermarest. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. And I was like, well, let me try the Thermarest, and I just couldn't. It was like between that or the chair.
You gotta have the chair.
I was like, I love my chair.
So, well, okay. So I love having some type of like closed foam pad because it can get wet, you know, and you just shake it off and it's dry instantly. So you can put it on like a tree stump, anything to sit on when you're, you know, making camp. You can kneel on it. You don't get your knees wet. They're just so handy to have. So that's why I have that like small
You had that
butt
little
pad
one, yeah.
Yeah, and it just like has so many different uses. And like I would encourage you, you know, if you can bring your, you know, that foam pad, you know, and fold it in half, and you know, like there's so many uses for it. I don't know if it'll fit on the bottom, or you know, you know, if you want to come over and get that like that small little pad, because even that small little pad, like, you know, when I was getting cold at night, I like slipped it under my sleeping pad under my feet, and that just provided, you know, more insulation. So it's super handy to have, you know, something like that that's just totally bomber. You know, it's not gonna fail. It can get wet and it still works.
I used it on, I put my knees on it when I was staking down the.
Yeah, because you're gonna be around wetness all the time.
I also got a new shovel. It's pretty cool.
Oh, so we don't have to use our feet?
No, I got this like claw thing. So avalanche shovels are pretty expensive, and I see it right here, so I'll grab it. Avalanche shovels are pretty expensive, and I don't know. They're big, and they're made for doing avalanches. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm in. This was a real smart move. Okay,
Do
maybe.
you want me to get the shovel?
Maybe we're not getting the shovel. All right. So this is the snow claw.
Oh,
It's cost
weird. It's like a mini saucer you sit on.
Yeah, so actually I could sit on this. They said that. You can put your
You
knees
can
on it.
glissade on it.
I can, what?
I think it's called glissading.
I don't even know what?
It's like when you go down a
that a
glacier,
sledding?
you know, and yeah, like on your butt. Like when you go down like a glacier, a chute.
I guess.
Have you never heard of that? I'm
No.
probably like butchering the pronunciation,
Sledding.
but
That's what
no,
that
this is
sounds
like, you know, you hike up Rainier or something like that, and you can glissade down.
So,
I think it's a thing.
but this is like this is how you scoop, or you scoop like this. It's not like the full-on thing. But this fits on the outside of my pack like a glove, and it was really cheap, and it's actually less weight. It's pretty light.
It's pretty light.
So
The snow claw.
the snow claw, got it at REI. Just wandering around REI like a psycho. So that is what I will be using.
I wonder how well it would work like backcountry skiing if it would replace a shovel.
It was in the backcountry skiing aisle.
Yeah, you definitely can't shovel as fast, but it's better than nothing, I guess.
I guess. So I brought the tent.
Let's talk about this tent.
Let's talk about this tent. So I really dug the TIPI design. I did like the TIPI design. This is a 3-person tent, and it's really small, but didn't you feel like there was a lot of room in it?
No. I actually did not like the TIPI design at all.
Wow.
I think optically it looks really cool. And when when the chimney was piping out smoke, I think it looks like really Instagrammy and cool. But like just the geometry of it, there's room in the middle where, you know, close to the pole. But,
Right.
you know, as soon as you get away from that, the walls are not steep enough, you know, like a normal tent is dome shaped.
Yes.
So that even when you're on the edge, you know, the walls still go relatively straight up.
Right.
This was at like a 45-degree angle. So the way we had to sleep, you know, this was super tight for 2 people. And the way we had to sleep.
Super tight for 2 people in a stove?
In a stove, right. Right, we had a stove in there too. But like what I'm trying to say is like I was laying down and like the wall was like right here. and like there was no room to sit up at all. You know, my feet were touched. So part of the problem with why my feet got cold is because my foot box was touching the edge of the tarp or the
Right.
sleeping or the tent teepee,
Right.
and there was so much condensation that it just soaked my foot box. So like I couldn't really move very much, and it was just like I said, it's the shape of the teepee with those walls
So
that just make it so much less roomy.
So the condensation thing, and I heard some people talking about this, is the condensation thing is kind of an issue. If I was going to have one issue with this thing, it'd be the condensation part, at least with the stove. Now that I'm ditching the stove, who knows? But you can kind of see in this shot here, we stake down where, I mean, the points is where we stake down. So we stake down like right here, and we stake down right here. There is a place, there is like another room, another point for a stake right in the middle, and actually you could put 3 right here. Like there's a lot of stake down points. They said even in the winter time, lift the tent up and let some air get underneath that thing to keep the air flowing so that there's not as much condensation. Any smoke that comes out, can obviously vent out. This hole right here, by the way, on the right is a hole to vent for more ventilation. And then the hole where the chimney goes through, that, as soon as we took the chimney out, you're like, shit, there's a lot of wind coming through that hole.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoop, there's a piece that's Velcro on the outside, so I just put a Velcro piece over that
You were
comes with
super
it.
happy about it at 3 a.m.
I was super happy. I was like, I know, so glad I brought this thing and didn't leave it at home. So yeah, we were able to seal that hole and then seal that. So point being is just like, if you take the chimney out, you can drawstring this down. You can add more stakes. You can obviously lower the tent so that you really get a nice seal on the bottom, and you can seal that hole, and you can try to keep all your body heat in it. And but the condensation was a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's super sturdy. There's one pole holding it up, but we got hurricane force winds, and it was solid.
It was solid, except for the chimney.
Except for the chimney. But the chimney is like 10 feet too long. It's like a sail.
It is so long. And it's so long that you can actually touch the top. And an outdoor gear review channel actually hit me up and was like, you should have guidelined that chimney. And I just absolutely kicked myself in the head. I was like, oh my, we should have guidelined the chimney.
What a good idea. I mean, it's not like we've ever brought a stove before.
I honestly
it's like
thought
one of those learning lessons.
I honestly thought the chimney would be too hot, and it's not. Maybe that's why it's so tall. They're like, hey, at this top point, since we made it longer, it's just not going to be as hot, so you can throw guy lines on it. Yeah, that's what we should have done. But as soon as the wind picked up, this thing was out. The other thing is, even with the wind, this was weird. Even when the wind wasn't going, whenever you open that door, someone said like you need to open up flaps there's no flaps on the back. There's no ventilation on the back. Like the only place where you can let air in or out is right there on the front of this thing. Like, so every time you open the door to put more wood in, dude, smoke comes out. I didn't like that at all. Why is like every time I open the door, I'm eating a face full of smoke. I hated that part.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then it was really good you caught this mistake where I didn't seal the top of this at all. So it was just leaking out the sides.
Yeah, we start our first fire and it's just like all the smoke's kind of coming out through the side, and I'm like, do I say something? Is that normal?
Dude,
I don't know.
You know what's so terrible is in my mind I'm like, that doesn't look right, but I really don't want to fix this, and I'm not going to say anything. And I noticed it, and then you said something, and I was like, you're like, should I be doing that? I'm like, probably not. And you're like, should we fix it? And I'm like, I guess I'll fix it. Which is a really good move. You're supposed to have like a carbon monoxide detector, but
Yeah, that's what Logan said when he came over today. He's like, "Did you guys have a carbon monoxide detector?" He's like, "They're $10."
I was totally gonna stop at Home Depot and get one, but I just didn't have time. All right. But yeah, we should have had one.
I just, it was a learning experience with the stove, not necessarily a positive one. To me, the amount of heat it put off was not much until you constantly fed it and left the door open and we had a flame going the entire time. Then it was warm inside the tent. But the second you let it kind of die down or shut the door, thinking that the embers and the coals, which we had been, this fire had been going for, 10 hours. So, we had as good of coals as we were going to get. It didn't do anything. There was like no heat coming off of it. So unless you had like an active flame going, it did nothing, I felt.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, I got a comment that I totally agreed with, who said, someone saying like working that stove is a skill. And I actually said that to you out there.
Yeah.
I was like, this thing is going to take some learning. I don't expect it. I expect it to require some finesse. I still don't know how you get to the point of having as much finesse as you need to like let it run the whole night without having to constantly feed it. Because you're right, it needed a lot to put off any kind of heat. So not any kind of heat. I think you were just like, how much is it? Like a little bit of heat. It's in there. It's hot. It's obviously hot. It's not pumping out heat like a heater, but when it's low and it's hot, it's obviously giving off heat. So
I think when you are you still planning on doing a review of it?
Yeah.
I think when you take it out, you bring a thermometer. Wow. And you kind of run some tests.
I just ran the test, I can tell you.
No, I'd be curious, like what the different, when it's open flame, actively feeding, how warm it is in there. And then when you're just letting coals burn, and then when you take it out, I'd just be curious how much fluctuation there is. Because I just you could stick your hand like 6 inches away and not feel any heat.
Right.
Unless, we had a fire going.
Right. Unless you had a flame pumping.
Yeah.
The other thing was like the like in getting the wet wood right was weird. Right?
So that totally could have been our issue. Like that very well could be why we never got.
Well, why would you ever
coals.
expect?
But yeah, winter
not
backpacking,
wet wood.
Right?
When you're backpacking
Right.
in the winter, it's always going to be wet.
Yeah.
So, but that was weird because you get this roaring fire, which you needed to basically burn off the water of the next piece of wood that you're going to get in there. So then you would you'd have this roaring fire going, you'd put 2 good logs that were wet on it, and it would just kill it. Now, I did find out later that night, and once you had some patience, even though it kills it for 30 minutes, it eventually kicks back up.
It'll dry up.
It dries up and it kicks back up. So at night, that was kind of that fluctuation. I would throw those wet logs in there. It would kind of die. It would just kind of smolder, and it would still be somewhat hot, and then all of a sudden, it would rocket, and at that point, once it's starting to rocket, it'd be like, oh, it's time to put wet wood on now. And then I couldn't sleep because it was well, if it's, let's go. Now it's getting toasty in here, which means I gotta put the wet wood back on. So, back and forth and back and forth. And then every time you open that door, the smoke comes out. That's the other thing, dude. All my shit still smells like a campfire, which is super annoying. I don't want my stuff to just be covered in soot and ash for the rest of the season. That part I didn't like.
You might need it. You might need that stove when you're doing, 2 years from now when you're doing the sawtooths, because your jet boil, that gas doesn't work when it gets cold enough.
I think that at that point, it's not even backpacking anymore. It's mountaineering. Like, I'm probably going to need like $1,000 tent. One of those total crazy.
You're just going to go on
mountaineer
like, you're going to
tents.
find like a Mount Everest YouTuber and go to his like Amazon like list and
Seriously.
take one of those.
What's up, Jimmy
One of
Chin?
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever Jimmy Chin takes is what I'm ordering
I'll
now.
take two.
Yeah, I'm looking for sponsors. Going back to the design of this thing that you didn't like, the whole teepee design, like if you have those walls that are going straight up and down, you can't have that because if it snows, then the snow can rest on the top and collapse the tent. That's why this is designed like this, to fluff off snow. So when you get that heavy snow, heavy wind, it'll settle at the bottom. It won't sit on top.
Okay, but look at that. Look at the teepee.
I am
Now,
looking at the
okay,
teepee.
so now overlay your Nemo dagger. So when you have the vestibule all tarped out, aren't the pitches about the same? It's not that far off.
No, it's far off. You're talking about like a dome versus
A dome, right? It's a dome tent, but then when you have the vestibule, it's you've got those steep pitches.
I mean, I think the dagger would. I mean, someone was going to come with me to Jenny Lake, and they wussed out. You know who you are. They said they bought a house, which is ridiculous. You can't find a house here. But I told him, like, just bring your dagger. It'll be fine. Because I do think that the dagger would work in most situations. But, you never know. And I liked it. I dug the style of it. And I'm thinking that having the tent in that is going to be super cool. So having the tent take up half of it and then the other half just be my stuff, I think that'll be nice. So, and this thing cost less than $250, like not with the stove cost $300. So, whoops. But the tent itself costs like less than $250, and it's lighter than the dagger, for example. It fits 3 people in it, and if you get the tent piece, that's another $150. So it can definitely get expensive, but dude, for a 4-season tent or camping setup. Like, originally I was looking at like a $1,500 hammock setup. Like, I was pretty stoked to find something that cheap. So I did like the price of it. That was good.
Yeah, and also like that stove, how sharp the chimney is when you're rolling it.
Dude,
You could just it could cut your hand just clean off.
it could slice your wrist. It's definitely, there's a lot of like, I think that's the big thing, and that's why I'm glad you came with me, and I really wanted someone out there with me the first time. There's a lot of, like, when you're by yourself, it's a whole different beast. Like, there's too many safety hazards with that stove for me to even want to use it by myself, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, let's talk about 3 a.m. I was sound asleep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you were.
If I didn't wake
Very
up to,
asleep.
oh, fuck!
Yeah.
Like, I may not have woken up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, unless you had the carbon monoxide detector.
Yeah,
so you were out.
Yeah, at 3 a.m., it had been windy all night, and we had issues with the chimney and the stove connection kind of coming loose, and we finally we adjusted it a couple times and got it to a place we thought we were good, and we were up till probably midnight. At least I was. John was constantly feeding the fire, and I eventually dozed off. And
You dozed off early. I was just working on it. I just was like, what the hell? I can get this to work. I was trying to get it to work, and I couldn't get it to work. And yeah, you're right. I mean, there's just too much risk to the stove.
But yeah, so you eventually fall asleep too, right?
After we kicked the stove out, I slept like a baby.
Yeah, but did you wake up to the smoke, or were you awake?
I woke up to the sound of the chimney coming off.
Okay, so you were asleep.
Kind of.
You were
I
like,
don't know if I actually sleep out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I wake up to John like screaming, and I'm like,
It was me trying,
freaked out.
Yeah, I was waking you up.
And like, I wake up, I look around, I can barely see John, who's, his face is 3 inches from mine. We basically made out all night.
Right.
And, our tent is just, smoke city. And it was kind of like a panic mode to like get the door open to try to vent it. And then, get that hot stove out.
Yeah. I was so lucky that the stove had been cooled, because I realized really early that the gloves that I brought were not fireproof. Like, they were not made to touch the stove. So when this stove is cooking like this, we didn't actually have anything to grab it and maneuver it with, which was super dumb.
I mean, I could have let you use my goat leather gloves, which I think would work,
Okay.
but they were expensive.
I felt like we had a lot of stuff that could have worked and like we could have ruined,
Yeah,
but
I
really,
didn't want you to ruin them.
I didn't have the proper stuff to like handle the stove
Yeah.
while it was baking. So I'm glad that it was kind of out and it was just kind of smoldering when that all went down, and I could pick it up at least and put it outside. And then, yeah, I slept like a baby. I had plenty of clothes and plenty of insulation. I was good. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was, after 3, we ditched the stove. It got, very cold again in there. And, I was okay. I was fine, like, make fun of me for not being prepared, but I actually was a little more prepared than like I had brought these like big hand warmers that I kind of tossed in my bag. So after 3, it got really cold. So I grabbed those hand warmers, my feet were cold. So I put them at the bottom of my bag and it was fine. And then, we slept till like 9 or 10, I think.
Yeah. I actually slept till
which
like
is
9.
Rare.
Because I was waiting for that sun to come out. The sun comes out way later. Thanks for the video about the tent stove. We couldn't stop laughing. That's good. Was that the mood I was going for? Jeez. Tire chains are good to have just in case.
Agreed.
So if I'm stuck, can I put on tire chains while I'm stuck?
No.
No. So at what point do I realize I need chains?
Oh, you'll
and
know.
put them on.
You'll know.
Okay.
You'll know the sign.
All right. Have you ever used them?
No. And I mean, I have a front wheel drive car, and I drive to McCall most weekends in the winter, and
You don't need chains for that though.
sometimes, I mean, if it's blizzarding out and you're going up and down Horseshoe Bend,
You don't need chains for that. Sarah's got like some felt stuff. I think it's like what they use on skins for skis
yeah.
around your tires. Apparently they're
Well, I mean, you can do. There's so many different things. Like you can use cat litter. You can keep cat litter in
You
your
keep
car.
saying that. What the hell does cat litter do?
It gives you traction and grip.
You
But
just
another
throw the
thing-
cat litter
okay.
out?
Yeah, you pour it by your tires. Like in front, where you're trying to go. Give you some grip.
Oh, man, that sounds
But
like
okay,
some
so another thing, like
BS.
your truck, even when it wasn't even icy, we were kind of sliding out. I think you need to put for winter. I think you need to put some sandbags in the back bed, just because your back bed is so lightweight. It was kind of coming out on us. And I think especially for snow and ice, you want some weight back there. So that's
Oh.
just kind of like a pickup truck thing. Just put some weight back there.
You can put them on if you're stuck. You just got to know how to do it. Well, yeah.
That's probably right.
MSR Access winter tent. Ditch the silly TIPI. What is an MSR Access winter tent? What? Don't tease me with gear. Don't tease me with gear. What is the MSR Access winter tent? Oh. Okay. 3-person, 4-season. What?
4.9 stars.
What? Well, it's $700. Well, that looks like
doesn't look much different than a 3-season tent.
it seriously doesn't. It does have the dome. Oh, sorry. Does everyone want to see it? Everyone want to see this? So here's what. Who's talking about this? If you're in the chat. Tucker is talking about this tent. The MSR Access. This is a 3-person. Select a size, one size. I mean,
So I guess how much better is that than a 3-season? I guess it's probably just reinforced poles and rainfly material.
I mean, so while resisting snow loading, that's the big thing, right? You don't want to be able to, obviously, the snow to sit here, but you can kind of see here it's way rounded at the top. Tough poles. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I've already thought about getting one of these tents now that I've used that stove. Cause I really got the TIPI because I was like, man, I want that stove. You know? But now that I'm like, well, the stove doesn't really work. Holy cow, it's heavy. It's much heavier than,
Twice as much.
yeah, it's over twice as much heavier than the TIPI, honestly.
But the TB is nothing.
The TIPI's nothing.
It's a tarp.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do more research into this. Thank you, Tucker. This is
Tucker, you have just cost John
dude,
$700.
So hang on. Here's what I was actually. So right before we left, everyone knows I love Nemo. I think Nemo's got a new one, a new 4-season. That's a little bit cheaper. That I was like, son of a bitch, why didn't you come out earlier before I started this? Where is it? The Bike Pack 10. It's not that one. It's not that one. Here it is. Oh, it's the same price.
Same price.
It's the same price. All right. This is Nemo's 4-season backpacking tent. The Kunai. And it's temporarily out of stock. That, for some reason, makes me feel better. I don't know why. I mean,
What does it weigh?
let's see how much it weighs.
Similar.
It's actually a little heavier. It's 9 ounces heavier.
Oh, does it only have one vestibule? Is it kind of like the
It's got a
a single door?
So no, it's 2-door. It looks like opens on the back.
Sure about that?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I think it's one door, one vestibule.
Oh yeah, there's the back. Okay, so. Oh, you can get a 2-person. Oh, here you go. Here we go. Okay, I do like the 2-person at $500. I'm guessing that's going to be way lighter. 4 pounds, 5 ounces. 1 vestibule. Okay. So this, honestly, if this might be what I get. God, but then I'm always like, I should have spent the extra $100, $200, and just gotten a little bit more room, right?
I'm sure you'll watch 1,000 YouTube videos on both tents in the next 2 days.
I'm sure I will. God, I don't have the money for this. This YouTube channel doesn't do that well. I definitely lost money on this whole endeavor.
Yeah, so this is your reminder to buy products with the affiliate links below.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of buying stuff, dude, oh my gosh. Can I rant about something a little bit off topic? But this whole influencer thing is so weird because I got hit up and I don't even I'm not even on TikTok, but somehow I have like 5,000 subscribers or followers or whatever you call them on TikTok.
By not on TikTok, you mean you post a video every week on TikTok?
I think it's once a week.
Yeah.
To just when I post.
You're not on TikTok. You're on TikTok.
But I post to like TikTok and Facebook. Like, dude, if you
you're not a TikToker, but you still put out
whatever
content there.
I put it all out, like Facebook, and like I don't. If you leave me a comment on Facebook, I don't see it. And
Meta.
TikTok, right? I just learned about that like 2 days ago. I put those out to try to get people to YouTube, to try to help grow the YouTube channel, and somehow that TikTok channel has gone to 5,000. So a company hit me up. Man, I do not do well with these brand deals. A company hit me up, and I can't say who it is, but it's a very large Idaho entity.
Oh. Okay.
It's very large.
Yeah.
I mean, you know
told
who they
me,
are.
yeah.
Right. Sorry, I can't say, or I'll get in trouble. Let's just say they've given away over $1 billion. So that's how big they are. And they're like, hey, we'll pay you $100 to post a TikTok. And I knew who they were, and I was like, $100 to post like a TikTok? Yeah, sure. So I mean, you know all the stories. I have burned a lot of bridges with some major like Idaho travel companies because I'm always like, I don't know if it's
stubborn.
I'm stubborn because I feel like it's like, dude, what is going on here? Like, you're taking advantage of me. Like, you're taking advantage of me. Knock it off. Like, and instead of just going with it, I snap back and then they go, cool, you're one of 1,000 people. We'll just never work with you and get someone else, which is fine. But it's like, okay. But like they're like, we'll pay you $100 for a TikTok, and I'm like, cool, all right. What's the assignment? And they don't give it to me. They send me the contract first, and it's like I'm sitting there like mulling it over, like
a contract for $100.
Yeah, well, when you're that big of a company, I guess, but there's all these rules to it and stuff, and I read that.
What were some of the requirements?
They had to check it. They're checking it. They got to check it. I can't just post willy-nilly. There's like captions and hashtags that I have to use. And I'm already like, okay, this isn't worth $100 because I have to just read
Did you have
this
to create
contract.
something just for it? Like, did
Yes.
it have to be themed?
Yes.
Or did you just go through some stock footage and...
No, there's a theme.
Oh.
So, but I didn't really know that right away. But they were like, we want you to create a TikTok about, like, and they gave me a broad general idea. So I thought, like, I would hold their product and, like, have to dance or something like that. I don't know. I thought it'd take like 15 seconds. And then they send me, so I signed the contract and stuff, and they finally, that's when they send me the inspo deck, inspiration deck. The fact they call it an inspo deck offended me. And they're like, here's the inspo deck, and dude, it's 10 pages. It's like a huge PDF file. And I'm like, for a TikTok? Like, why do I need, like, there is so much information. Like, they want you to craft a commercial. I'm like, for a TikTok? For $100? I'm like, by the way, and I know that this is different. Like, I know, like, they're hiring me as, like, a quote-unquote influencer. But, like, it's like I create this stuff for a living. It's $200 per finished minute just for me to edit something. That's not even my shoot rate. So, like, $100 for a 1 minute video is ridiculous to me. And it's like, you're not just buying, like when I think of you buying that for $100, you're buying the quote unquote influence of the platform, right? Or what I've got there. You're not buying my actual creative services. So that's why I'm like, I don't feel like I should have to go out and write and script and edit and do this whole thing.
No, TikTok is underproduced. It's people
Right.
with their phones putting songs, and it's a copycat platform too.
Right. And actually now with TikTok, what I've been starting to do for those is like, when I go out, is actually shooting just one thing like vertically, and then that's all I'm gonna post. It's just that scene. So if you follow me on TikTok for some reason, like I think for this one, I did post one just for, I wanted to test it. I posted one with like the pretty drone stuff. I cut it all vertically up and all the drone stuff and, you know, the music and all that. I think like 100 people watched it. And then I just posted something where it was just the vertical shot of the tent billowing smoke, and that's it. And all it says is like, would you camp here? And I think that one got like 500-600 views. So it's like, and then obviously there was that one of just the fish that I did that had like 50,000. And it's like, okay.
It's like, why?
So why am I taking time to actually edit something together for these? So my new plan is just like, not even any music, just one shot, pretty in the outdoors. You can escape into nature and your TikTok feed for 10, 15 seconds, right? So they send me this inspo deck, and I did something pretty nice, but like that, a lot of shots. I went down to the Boise River. I have my A7S III. I shot it vertically in 4K, and it was like a bunch of shots. So it was like, imagine, and if you've watched my videos, like the hiking stuff that I do, where it's like, there's no music to it. Some of the stuff, like Alice Talks Away. Just, I did a little like 60-second movie, like mini movie that I wrote about their inspo, with their inspo deck. And I color graded it and I sent it to them, and I'm like, you know, it's a big client, whatever. And it's weird because you're not actually working with the client directly. You're working with the marketing team from New York that they hired to do this. So I send it to them.
And they're always lovely.
Oh yeah, I send it.
Marketing agencies.
It's been like 2 weeks, and just the amount of emails that I've had to answer, it's like, why am I doing this? So they send it back to me, and then they're like, would you do a voiceover talking about how such and such helps the community, helps your community, what you would do in this situation, and what your lucky I'm like, so now I'm just writing a commercial, right? I'm making a commercial for you. Like I'm writing, producing, shooting, and doing a voiceover. Like I don't see any voiceovers on TikTok, and we're still on the $100 that you gave me. Like what? How do I get out of this contract? Like, because I don't want to do this. So that's the email that I sent them. That's where we left it. Classic John, probably burning that bridge. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, am I naive? I don't know. How much does a TikTok cost? And I'm cool with saying no. It's like, and it's not like it's a mom and pop shop that's just like, hey, we just want you to review this product or whatever.
Right.
It's like,
you're not doing them a favor.
It's $1 billion thing. Like it's a big thing. It's like, come on, man, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? Do you want the produced commercial, or why? I thought I was just going to say something. Right, because that costs
a little bit more than just.
I know. It's like, did you like? And now I'm like questioning, like, do you guys know like what I do? Because are you asking the people that just have 1 million followers because they set their phone up and dance, like, or do you know that I can produce this? I just sent you a 1-minute video with 30 different shots in it. Like, you obviously can, like, so are you just, do most people know how to put voiceovers in, or? And then I'm like trying to go back through the contract, and like they own it. So theoretically they could put it on their platform, and I could just be building them their own commercial for $100.
Yeah, sure. So I think like most people when they use TikTok, it's like, you know, so when you think of it, you're like, oh, I got to put a voiceover now. So I have to go get my recorder out, get my microphone out. Then I have to put it in my computer.
There's a feature in
Then
TikTok.
I have to add it on Premiere Pro. Yeah, and then on TikTok, you just go and there's like a voiceover button you record to your phone. So it's like, I think...
What's this asshole bitching about? He can just press a button on his phone.
Yeah. So like, I always get frustrated because whenever I try to do something on TikTok, I like can't figure out how to like do it. So, oh geez.
We're going to get flagged.
Yeah.
You stop that.
Yeah, like I can never figure out, like I've tried to make one TikTok like with a sound effect or something like that, like in it, and I can never figure out how to do it because I'm just so used to using like an editor. So I ended up going into DaVinci and creating it there when I know it's like 3 buttons to like get a sound or, you know, a voiceover, or like, you know how like they use the Siri voice all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
No, I don't know how to use the Siri.
Yeah, it's like the stupidest app that like little kids can make complicated TikToks on and we can't figure it out.
Oh.
It's like we're professional video people. It's like
they're like, geez, why won't this guy just?
yeah,
Why won't he just click
button.
the voiceover button and do it? I think that's the other thing, though. I have to keep going back and forth with them about it. It's like, dude, I just want to post this thing, get paid, and get done. It's like this 2-week process where I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah.
I mean, I think that's it. Obviously I've known you for a little while, and I think it just is another, reason why I think, you need the YouTube channel. You need something where you don't have, a client telling you what to do, putting boundaries on you, or, like you do your best work when you get to decide what you're doing, how you do it.
I don't think that's me. I think that's just everyone. Everyone does their best work when when you let the creative person be creative. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like people telling you what to do.
I don't.
Yeah.
But I do like, I mean, I don't know.
I would say especially more than other people.
Sure.
You're
but like Lana from Banana Inc., I'm begging her for guidance. Like, what do you want? She's like, oh, nothing, it looks great. And it's like, well, can you give me like a little bit more? Like, you're another artist I would like to see what you think. I mean, I don't know. I guess with this one though, like they were like, why don't you talk about how such and such is good for your community? And I'm like, how would I know how they interact? I've never seen them be involved with my community. Like, they contribute to education. We're 36 in education. Do you want me to talk about that? Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. I sent you that meme that was like, the $500 client. Can you fix this, this, and this, and this, and this?
Yeah.
And then the $50,000 client. Looks great, thanks.
That's exactly it. That's the part I can't stand. It's like, dude, what do you want? I will put an image I'll CGI a dragon into the video if you pay me enough money. But it's like, what are we talking about for $100? Which is my issue with it. I don't know.
So anyway, keep an eye out on TikTok for a new TikTok coming out.
Yeah, if you guys want to see what we're talking about, you'll definitely be able to tell if you follow me on TikTok. I don't even know what my TikTok handle is. It's probably John Conti. Let's see. Tucker has the 2-person MSR tent. The difference is minimal venting inside, keeps the water and the air in. Yeah, the smaller tent is probably good. I moved to Coeur d'Alene 10 years ago from Arkansas and still haven't been to the Sawtooths.
Gotta fix that.
You should fix that, yeah. And John Walhoff said, hey. Well, hey, John.
What's up?
What is going on? All right, the first live stream we did, the last live stream, what are you looking at now?
I got a new hinge match.
All right, so obviously this live stream is done.
I've got some DMs to respond to.
Because I look over and Brett's on freaking Tinder or whatever. What is that one?
Hinge. It's classier.
It's classier?
Yes.
I don't even know how that's possible.
I'll show you when we get off. Don't worry.
Oh my God, I live vicariously through you. All right. Well, we're gonna take off. I am heading to Jenny Lake tomorrow. Video should be out Monday. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and please subscribe and support the channel. Tell people about it so I don't have to make TikTok videos for $100.
Yeah, and if you want to go camping with John at Jenny Lake, tomorrow.
Yeah, just
meet him at the Trailhead.
Meet me at the Jenny Lake Trailhead. Meet me at Jenny Lake tomorrow. I'll be there. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.